Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate. I post videos where I react and comment on films, TV shows, whatever I really want to do. Usually I post every Friday at 6 p.m, but I've recently shifted to Sunday at 6 p.m. because I think that time works for my audience better. In honor of my birthday, I'm going to watch a movie that really resonates with me. If I had to name my life after a movie, it would simply be Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. The movie. Not the Netflix series. This movie came out in 2004. I was 4, so obviously way too young to have read any of the books or to have seen the movie. I think for some reason around 2010 it was rescreened, and I remember the trailer playing on TV a lot and my mom always being like, this is such a weird film, like who'd want to watch it? And I was just like, yeah, who would want to watch this? Meanwhile, I was on book 11 of the series. I ended up ending the series at book 11 even though there were 13 just because I got bored. So I don't really know how the series ended. But back in the day, y'all remember Divergent, The Hunger Games, the whole YA fantasy dystopian novel rise? Well, before that we had Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, and A Series of Unfortunate Events. A Series of Unfortunate Events never got the same hype that Harry Potter did. I mean, no book series has ever gotten that kind of hype. No, not even The Hunger Games, I would argue. But that was a long way to say that I'm not like other girls. I like the indie books about orphans and their struggles through life, except they're gonna be crazy rich once Violet turns 18. There's so much lore here, and what they've done with this movie is they combined the first 3 books into one movie, which I understand why they did because the first 3 books were like this skinny, but the thing is they never made any more movies. And if you remember what I said at the beginning of the video, there are 13 books. We have 10 books left that we never got a movie for. I'm not salty about it, but like the child actors are not children anymore. They're like 19 years older, almost 20 years older. So long story short, we'll never get the revival that we want, and no, the Netflix series was not what I was looking for. Honestly, like I tried to watch it, it was fine. It was just the fact that this movie was done so well and like so true to the aesthetic that I think that Lemony Snicket was trying to convey that nothing else will touch it. That is just plain as day. Today, in honor of my birthday, I will be watching A Series of Unfortunate Events. Yeah. It's currently 9:14. I want to be showered by 10 p.m. and this movie is an hour and 50 minutes long. This generally used to be like my favorite movie growing up. I memorized every single line from this movie just because I watched it so many times. I could recite it with my eyes closed. I can't do that anymore. Duh. All I'm saying is I really enjoyed this movie for some reason. I mean, maybe revisiting it, I'll figure out why I liked it, or maybe I'll find out I was just kind of a weird kid. My cat is also in my lap. Bao, say hi. Bao, I hate to disturb you, but you have to say hi. Say hi! Wow. The only reason I'm leaving this part in is because it will come back in the movie. I remember when I first watched this movie, what they're gonna do soon is like try to get the audience. I don't know who fell for it, but the thing is my entire family of adults fell for it.
The movie you are about to see is extremely unpleasant.
Extremely unpleasant. Reasonably attractive. Orphans? No, because listen, when I heard the last name Baudelaire, it unlocked something in my psyche. I have a very plain last name, so to hear something as big and bold as Baudelaire, I was like, I'm gonna marry into the Baudelaire family. Keep in mind, I was like 11. This girl's got a whack hairdo. Like if you were to see that in person, she looks kind of crazy, but they're rich enough to be that crazy. I tried to recreate it many times. Klaus Baudelaire. I still follow this dude on Instagram. What's really funny is Klaus definitely has like an eidetic memory, and for some reason after watching this movie, I convinced myself that I would train myself to have an eidetic memory. I like how the other 2 siblings are like super smart engineers, they can remember anything, and Sunny bites! She's a biter!
I'm very, very sorry to tell you this, but your parents have perished in a fire that's destroyed your entire home.
You know, I don't really know how acting works, but I feel like personally, I might be a bit more devastated than that. Dude, that house is destroyed. Houses don't burn like that, do they? No, like the entire mansion would be in flames in moments, right? Like, wood's flammable, but not that flammable, right? Adventurers. Her mom's got that adventurer haircut. Oh, call back to like 3 minutes ago. VFD. This right here super important in the books. No idea what it stands for. But also, he's about to leave without that spyglass. I mean, in this house of completely decimated things, why are you not taking the spyglass even though it's like super hot to the touch?
So I'm taking you to live with your dear Count Olaf.
Yes, of course you do. He's either your third
To this day, I still don't know what 3 times
or
removed means.
3 times.
Like, I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, oh, he got removed from the family 3 times? But I think it's just like, how distant of a cousin is he? I was always obsessed with this woman's house. Like, from the description in the book and then also seeing it in this movie. I just wanted a house like hers. Justice Strauss, I'll tell you right now, is an idiot. These kids could look quite chipper for just finding out that their parents are dead. Live with? With Count Olaf? No. He's my neighbor. Love the CGI. This is how I make my interest into friendships.
Hello.
Violet. What is this? My friends, whenever I introduce them to the new guy. Our parents just died. That's kind of funny if you think about it. Why were there so many locks? Oh, so Count Olaf's whole thing is he wants the Baudelaire fortune. And by adopting the kids, he thinks he's gonna get their money.
What's that up there?
The tower. But you're never to enter. Me when I'm fishing for compliments.
Sonny, that's not a pot.
It's a bassoon. A spittoon. You mean like... I remember thinking that the pasta coming out of that was what they cleaned out of this bassoon. I wonder what time period this is actually set in. Because it's like kind of ambiguous.
Anything? Never feel like home again?
I think there needs to be tears in this scene. Personally, that line, it carries a lot of weight. I used to think she tied that ribbon around her whole waist and I was like...
Sanctuary is a word which here means a small, safe place in a troubling world.
Yeah, no, that's one thing Lemonade Snicket liked to do. He liked to go on very long rampants about definitions. And as a child, that's just simply not interesting.
We're going to be hit by a train!
This is Count Olaf's first attempt at immediately inheriting the fortune. You know what he's gotta do to the kiddos. What time period? Where in the world are we? That they're dressed like this. They have a spittoon, but they have cars, but like these old-timey cars that still are giving like 1970s. That's crazy. 3 kids in the car, no adult supervisor on the train tracks.
Mr. Poe.
Why are all the children's belongings in the trunk? I'm gonna get you. 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 You're so deceased. As a kid, I did not know what deceased meant. Now that I'm an adult, the line, "You're so deceased," is insane. Uncle Monty's house is so beautiful. I want to know what kind of money he has. Is he like a professor? I've kind of forgotten everything.
What kind of scientist he is.
Oh, I hate what happens to Uncle Monty. He truly would have been the best guardian for the Baudelaire orphans.
Well, perhaps I should come
I love how Mr. Poe is cautious about this caretaker and not Count Olaf.
We're going to Peru tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? They just met this man. I swear everything that's about to transpire feels like more than just one night.
Come to my humble abode.
Not another man who says humble abode. No, this movie really tried to make us chill with snakes. Y'all ready to see the incredibly deadly viper? Ain't no way the snake can actually open its cage. If that's the case, we need a better cage. Jump scare.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The big softy. One of the least harmful and most friendly creatures in the animal kingdom.
Nothing about that snake was giving completely harmful and super friendly.
Uncle Monty, why are we going?
You know, Violet, that's a very good question. If you ever meet someone and the next day they're like, "We're going to a different country," get out. That is sketchy as heck.
A sanctuary.
What is this baby? This baby literally just reacted and they kept it on camera. I don't know how I feel about the acting in this. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, this acting's kind of silly goofy. Oh, now we're about to get Uncle Monty's lore, his backstory. It's like kind of super sad. I'll just tell it to you because I don't want this to get copyrighted. His wife and kids died in a fire the same way that the Baudelaire's parents died. Another suspicious fire? I wonder if it could possibly be by the same perpetrator.
I think I know that song. I think our parents used to play it for us.
Hello.
Ew! What is that mustache? It looks like he just has his top lip lined with black lipstick.
Count Olaf.
Don't be suspicious. You know, now that I'm thinking about the acting and like my actual reactions, pretty accurate. What's up with this guy in trains?
Have you ever experienced with children?
Children are strange and
Me whenever I had to babysit to make money growing up. I know of children. I was never really a child myself, but I don't know why that's so like threatening, but it was. Oh, but yeah, context, Count Olaf just Uncle Monty.
It's definitely a snake.
So that guy, 100%, that was a part of Count Olaf's acting troupe. Also, the detective being all like, who woke me up at 9 in the morning? That is literally the time that any person should already be at work. Why are you sitting here like, oh, who woke me up at 9 in the morning for this? You should have already been awake. Unless it was a Saturday. Now, Aunt Josephine, who we're about to meet, is a whole lot of crazy. I personally relate to her. I like how in the music for it, there's like this soft wail that's almost the same pitch of it as Aunt Josephine's voice.
You could trip over the welcome mat and decapitate yourself.
Aunt Josephine's got some anxiety, I would say. And I also love her accent. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know what part of the United States or if we're in the United States this is. I personally am not staying in that house during a hurricane.
I never turn on the radiator. I'm frightened that it might explode.
Very, very valid fear. Meryl Streep is Aunt Josephine? I knew she looked familiar, but like, I'm shook. Oh, we're getting Aunt Josephine's lore. It's quite tragic.
Oh, I was quite adventurous when I was alive.
I just realized if you paused on that photo, you could see their parents. Also, this is how they're starting to figure out that everyone is connected and that the reason they're getting passed from like weird relative to weird relatives, that they're actually like buddies. This is a cool feature to have for a home, but also like, why do you need the whole thing to like spiral and wind up? So I died from these things called lacrimose leeches that live in Lake Lacrimose. Essentially, they have 5 rows of very sharp teeth and can smell food on you. So you know how people say like don't swim after eating unless it's been like 30 minutes to an hour. If you don't wait an hour after eating, these leeches will come and shred you like a paper shredder. Quite horrifying. We are now meeting Count Olaf. Again, I don't know how they color graded this film. I kind of like it because it's like gloomy but warm. It's almost like Twilight mixed with Twilight New Moon, like a little in between of that. If I was Twilight, I'd be like, do I need to leave? You know, this movie would be a lot easier to stomach if all the adults in these kids' life did not fail them.
Not going through this again.
Yeah. Oh. You know, I don't know how he got rid of his foot. I remember reading the books and being like, I'm not really sure if Captain Sham is Count Olaf. He's obviously Count Olaf. There's literally only one antagonist in the first 3 books. So of course it's always Captain Sham, Count Olaf. Oh, he must have stalked Aunt Josephine. Or maybe he just already knew about her. Maybe he knows everything about everyone in that club. I want to know Count Olaf's lore. I think the club that the parents and now Uncle Monty and Aunt Josephine and her husband were in, I think they might have been investigating fires and Count Olaf was like the reason the fires were being set. No, because if Aunt Jo actually fell out of that window, she'd be dead. I think I remember it being like completely staged and she like tricked Count Olaf into letting her go alive. But I also don't remember. And the most logical explanation is that she got pushed out the window and survived, even though a fall from that height absolutely would have killed her. Now, what's really fun about this sequence is that you're gonna see each and every one of Aunt Josephine's irrational fears come true. And I mean, if they come true, then are they really irrational fears? I don't know who built that house or who literally signed the permits for this house, but they should get fired. That's crazy. Also, look how lucky these kids are gonna be. I know the movie is called A Series of Unfortunate Events, and so is like the book series, but they're pretty lucky, all things considered. Like, that should have smashed his head. Literally hanging on by a thread, and they're saying here like, we're so fortunate. Statistically speaking, I think you might be in the green. I want you to see how crazy this jump is about to be. Not only did they make it to the next part of the house, they also made it all the way to the doorway before the whole house ripped off of the mountainside.
None of us have eaten in a while then.
Oh, Aunt Jo, you're about to get this whole family killed. This boat, it totally should have capsized. Look at it. I'm just gonna surmise the way that Aunt Josephine finds her and her demise. She goes the same way as Ike.
The law clearly states that you would not inherit the Baudelaire fortune if anything happened to the children.
Per.
No, with the exception, of course, of blood relatives and married couples.
This is where Count Olaf's gonna get gross. Marriage. Count Olaf is going to marry Violet, so he gets the fortune. Violet, I believe, is 14 years old. And because Count Olaf is her legal guardian, he can make that decision for her. Isn't that disgusting? Justice Strauss is going to officiate the wedding. I know what you're thinking. Doesn't Vi also have her own free will? No, because Count Olaf has kidnapped Sunny and is now dangling her from a roof and threatening to drop her from the roof if Violet doesn't marry him. Klaus, don't die! This wedding is very disturbing on a lot of levels, but the vows are kind of savage.
Take this. Count Olaf.
See, just the way that Justice Strauss literally low-key roasts Count Olaf. Yay! Yeah, Klaus is currently, he had to scale the side of a building to go rescue Sunny from the tower that they are never to enter under any circumstances. I'm obsessed with quill pens, low-key. Oh no, this is when he's gonna find out what happened to his parents. I also don't know like how much research Ike could have done to get him the exact sketch. Also in the book, Count Olaf didn't catch on that Violet was trying to use her left hand. He just let her, and then for some reason it made the whole wedding thing null and void.
Fire that's destroyed your entire home.
These things don't
Brutal. See, now he's gonna turn around and some people are gonna be there to kill him again. Yeah, that's freaky, Count Olaf. Like printing out photos of someone's home. Ugh.
These children tried to tell you.
There's the moral of the story.
No one ever
Who is the
listens
real
to
monster? King! Slay! He know he ate. I don't know how this audience full of grown adults wouldn't like have assaulted Count Olaf. Now, I don't promote physical violence, however, he just tried to marry a child. And I feel like throughout all the things that Olaf had to do for his punishment, he should have died! How did he not die from this train? But like, do they get to inherit his property now too? Oh, he was an arsonist? It just like clicked with me, like the actual crime that he committed. But like, yeah, that makes sense that he's like only an arsonist, even though he's technically also a murderer.
One last stop.
Oh, this is like the saddest and sweetest part of the movie because they're gonna walk through their old home and imagine it as it once was, even though it's like burned to the ground. I like being able to see the house in its prime because it was a big house. Like that's a mansion. Eat the rich, but you know, kind of sad that they're now orphans. Also, why are they dressed in like such dark clothes? I'm not saying that like rich people can't be emo, but like look at the way their house is decorated. Does this house scream like the family is going to raise 3 emo kids? I wonder how they like get babies to emote. Like, do you think they just say, be really sad? What male carrier would deliver a package to this house? That's so nice that like in the end they do get a piece of their parents back. So that was my favorite movie when I was like 10 or 12. Does that say something about the way I turned out as an adult? Maybe. But also like back in the day, I remember it being a lot better than it was when now that I'm watching it as an adult. Hey, it definitely gives 2004, like I feel like the cinematography and the style is similar to Big Fish if you ever saw that movie. I also don't know if that movie came out around the same era, but like it feels like the same genre. Let me pull that up. When was Big Fish released? Yeah, 2003. It's like the same aesthetic as Big Fish, just a bit darker. I hope you enjoy this video. I try to surmise when I can because literally, since it's 3 books packed into 1 movie, it feels like the same plot over and over again because it kind of is. It's like the same plot over and over. Like the Baudelaires go through something tragic. They kind of get a bone. They kind of get something that's enjoyable, but then Count Olaf comes and ruins it. Generally, I feel like they could have made do with Uncle Monty or Aunt Josephine and just been happy campers for the rest of their lives. But no, Count Olaf had to come and literally murder them. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it because it was nice sort of revisiting memory lane right before my birthday and before I entered my mid-20s. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like me, please subscribe to the channel. I will start posting videos at 6 p.m. on Sunday because that works best with my schedule and also yours because I am a channel for the people most of the time. If I'm not feeling good, we're not filming. Let's just get that straight. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. So leave. Peace.